Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning, live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios, family owned and operated with the largest selection of natural diamond jewelry, the only diamond and jewelry partner of the Florida Gators. We'll have Brent Beaird here in just a second. We'll also have JP Shadrick from Jaguars.com give us a little update on what's going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pretty much everybody in college football is underway. And let's go to our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How you doing?
Morning, Shane. If they're not underway, they will be, certainly by the end of the week. And again, we have to remember that they can practice 25 times over the next 29 days, leading up the first game of the season. 7 of those 25 practices held with helmets only, and they will have usually a couple of scrimmages. So, Shane, most of the teams in the SEC have started, and if not, they will be by tomorrow or this weekend for sure.
Yep, and football has definitely changed. I don't think anybody has 2-a-days.
Correct.
You don't practice like back-to-back days in pads. It's crazy how it works now.
It is.
Brent, there's a couple of SEC big time games. Week 1, Auburn, Baylor, LSU, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State. Who's Brent Beaird like? About 25, 30 days out? Who you like in those games?
Yeah, boy, that's gonna be pretty tough too. I mean, Clemson, LSU is a humongous game for LSU. LSU has not won an opener in probably close to 5 years now, and they need to be able to do that. Now, the Baylor-Auburn game, which is on a Friday night, not Saturday, but is on Friday night, is like it's a 1.5, kind of a pick'em game virtually. So that's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game for Auburn. Auburn really needs to win that game. And then, Texas, Ohio State. Ohio State's -2 right now, but these games are really too close to call. And then you've got a very intriguing game. It's not an SEC game, but it's important with Miami and Notre Dame. So Miami +3 to 2.5. So some big games that first weekend, isn't it, Shane?
Yeah. The team that's playing the most college football playoff opponents from last year is an SEC team, and poor old Mississippi State.
Yeah, really, Arizona State, which is a nice team to have on your schedule. I'm sure when they did that, they thought Arizona State would not be as good as they are now, but they are. Tennessee, Texas, and Georgia, and is not easy either. Now you've got 3. There are several teams with 3 opponents that were playoff opponents last year. Arkansas has got Notre Dame, Tennessee, and Texas. Florida, Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee among that. So there are several teams, and Mississippi State's a team that does not need to have 4 teams that were ranked last year.
No, they don't. Brent, I saw this. I screenshotted off Pro Football Focus. It came up on my Twitter feed. The hardest schedules in America.
Yeah.
Everybody. Some publications say Florida has it. They don't have Florida as having the most difficult. Here's the top 10.
Yeah.
Pro Football Focus, and everybody thinks Pro Football Focus is the king of all, I guess.
Yeah.
The Wisconsin Badgers, number 1. The Arkansas Razorbacks, 2. UCLA, 3. Florida 4, Rutgers 5, Kentucky 6, Northwestern 7, Mississippi State 8, Oklahoma 9, and Syracuse at 10. So,
Wow. Well, and the shame of that is, and hopefully they'll grow and develop, but you've got several schools there, Mississippi State and Kentucky, Arkansas is similar. That really they don't need that tough a schedule, but unfortunately they've got it.
yeah, very true. All right, Brent, what's going on with the Alabama Crimson Tide?
Well, practice has begun, and so far so good. I mean, there's a lot said about the quarterbacks, but Ty Simpson is likely your starter. He is kind of bided his time. Austin Mack or Keelan Russell are also involved in that. They're hoping the running game is going to be better. Demarion Miller, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Dre Washington are guys that people have not heard of because they've been backup roles for a while. So that will be interesting. A wide receiver, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, and Isaiah Horton. They've got three of the better wide receiver starters anywhere in the league. Frankly, Rico Scott, Montserrat Brooks, Cole Adams, some of the guys who are stepping up too. I won't go into all the list here for Bama, but they have promised to be the best Alabama team since the 2020 team that won the championship.
Interesting. Barone71 on YouTube, brought to you by Claude Clemens, says, do rankings like that only factor the talent of the opponent? Do they factor the talent on both teams? I have no idea, Barone. I just know everybody loves to talk about Pro Football Focus grades and this, that, and the other. I was just throwing out Pro Football's top 10 most difficult schedules in their opinion this year, and the Gators were fourth. Auburn Tigers. We've talked about it multiple times on here. Huge year for them. Obviously, opening up with Baylor. What's going on with Auburn?
Yeah, and the quarterback's kind of what you thought it would be. Now, Jackson Arlew came over from Oklahoma, is a starter, but Deuce Knight or Ashton Daniels are going to be pushing them. Daniels is a Stanford transfer. Now, Knight is a tremendous prospect. So keep your eye on him. They've got as good a receiving core right now as anybody does with Kim Coleman, Horatio Fields, Malcolm Simmons, or Perry Thompson in there. Auburn, Eric Singleton, that came over from Georgia Tech. People may remember him from there. So big early start for Auburn. Shane, that Baylor game on the Friday night of opening weekend, besides the opening weekend past week 1 or week 0, is going to be huge because that's a big game for Baylor too, frankly. So that will determine. I'm not going to say it's going to determine Auburn's season, but it will go a long way in doing so.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what's going on with the Gators? I think most people know, but give us an
They
update.
do. Good point, Shane. DJ Lagway, everybody's looking to see how quickly that he can come back. I think one of the more positive things, I know you talked a lot about Lagway, but Jane Baum broke some weight room records, according to Tyler Miles, the director of strength and conditioning for Florida. Really excellent prospect in so many ways. If he can stay healthy, they really like him. He is 231, 4-pound increase. One thing you're seeing now, Shane, I'm curious kind of what's causing this, but there are bigger backs now. And the thing is, we've gotten to the point where in the science of it all, that these bigger backs are as fast as some of these smaller backs in some ways. So that makes them very interesting. And Jane Baugh is one of those guys.
Yes, Shelvin on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, I can't believe I'm asking before August. Can someone give me a 30-second answer on how good and what style of QB is Bailey? Harrison Bailey is in his 6th year. He signed with Tennessee out of high school. I think he was an Elite 11 5-star quarterback.
Right.
Um, then played a little bit at Louisville, played at Houston, played at University. He's bounced around.
Yes.
Big kid. I think he's a tremendous thrower of the football. People say, well, why hasn't he won a job in any of those places? I mean, he's played sparingly. As I said on this show yesterday, nobody thought I could win any games, right? Nobody thought Noah Brendis would win any games. He
Yeah.
was a walk-on. So,
Right.
and I'm a big believer of this. You're as good as the players around you, and I think Florida has great talent around the quarterback this year, as best
Yes.
we've ever had in quite some time. And I think he's a really good thrower of the football. He's a if you want to say like a Graham Mertz, he's a quarterback that would play for Steve Spurrier. I'll leave it at
Yeah.
that. He's not a
Yeah.
dual threat guy. No,
Hmm.
not at all. Andy says Hugh Freeze supposedly implied saying that his entire offensive line will play in the NFL. I thought our offensive line was great. Yeah, I guess it just depends on who is grading and stuff like that. That's why I threw out the Pro Football Focus. I think they have Florida as one of the top offensive lines in America, but then they also have Wisconsin as the hardest schedule, whereas some people think Florida has the hardest schedule. So it's all opinions, all
It is.
opinions. Gallo Car Wash, locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Join our membership and see why Gators hate love bugs. All right, Brent, what's up going on with the Georgia Bulldogs?
Well, a lot. They are up and going so far. Ryan Pipuliski, we'll get that pronunciation down, and eventually is a backup to Gunnar Stockton. But they think he can come in and play a little bit and do some good things for them. Josh McCray, who is a running back, he is over from Illinois. He is 240, by the way. He is their biggest running back and could be a pretty good complement to Nate Frazier, Zachariah Branch, and wide receiver. Don't really know why. Totally that it didn't work out at USC, but that could be in Georgia's favor. Jaden Rendell, who's a tight end, he is one of three. Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky are involved. Right guard is Daniel Calhoun. And we think the offensive line, Lord, it's going to be healthier than it was last year. That's for sure. Elijah Griffin is the defensive tackle they really like. He's from Pooler, Georgia, #1 ranked defensive prospect in the recruiting cycle. And I could go on and on for Georgia prospects, but the reality is it's going to be a very interesting year for the Dogs. They've got Tennessee and Alabama in September, so that would test them a bit. And remember, Georgia had a lot of losses and injuries last year, hoping to overcome that this season. So it's going to be a very interesting season for the Dogs.
Yeah, Mike says on YouTube, on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mount Law. It'd be nice to know who has the weakest schedule. I don't know who has the easiest schedule in America. Nobody really cares about that. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say it.
That's pretty funny. It's
I may
true,
have to
though.
look into that. Zach says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, with all the media talking so much about Lagway being injured, do you think Bailey can step in and win some tough games if need be? I personally do. I don't know if Harrison Bailey's going to be the #2 guy. It could be Aiden Warner.
Yeah.
I'm not in those meetings. I'm not at practice, but from the little bit that I've seen of Harrison Bailey, I like the way he throws the football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And the good thing about it is, Shane, there are so many good things: wide receivers, running backs, offensive line for this Gator team,
Mhm.
to where they can have a quote unquote game manager in there for a while and still win some games.
Agree 1000%. LSU Tigers. I don't know if I can remember an opener as big as what LSU has this year. Now, there's a lot
Yeah,
of people in the country, big national media, even including our good friend Chris Doring, and I've seen other people pick this as well. A lot of people are picking LSU to win the national title.
yeah, yeah.
And
Um,
I mean, they can still win it if they lose to Clemson, but I just think it's an enormous football game for LSU.
It is that there's no doubt, and it just gets tougher because they've lost so many openers in a row. I mean, they give them credit; they played good teams. They lost twice to FSU. They've lost once to Southern Cal. So it is a big game. There's no doubt about that. And we're talking a little bit more about turnovers and creating turnovers. LSU is known for its offense, and we'll get to that in a minute. But they've got to do a better job in creating turnovers. Last year, LSU forced only 6 interceptions and 15 fumbles. They recovered 8 of those. But Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator, they're trying to be more aggressive, apply more pressure. They think that might make and it will make a real difference with them too. Now, Garrett Nussmeier, the fifth-year senior quarterback, is really coming on. Really thought to be one of the better, obviously, QBs in the nation right now. I mean, this guy's in his 4th year. He's a redshirt junior, by the way. He's completed 64% of his passes for 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. How about that, Shane? I mean, that's not bad going in. I mean, he needs 3,300 yards to pass Tommy Hodson as the LSU career all-time leader. So that's rather impressive too. But yet at the same time, they've got that. Look, they've always got talent. There's no question about that. But again, my thing is for them, we touched on it, Shane, will they be good enough defensively to win the league? I'm not sure they will, but they're going to be in every game if Nussmeier is healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Alan on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says LSU will lose to Clemson. I would put money on that. I wonder what the betting lines are saying on that game. I think Clemson's a 3-point favorite, we said earlier, something like that.
Yeah.
Plant on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, where do you think our receiving core is compared to the rest of the SEC? It's in the top 4 or 5. I mean,
It is.
I think what people, I mean, obviously a majority of the people that listen to this program are Gator fans and very biased, but Alabama has a really good receiving core, and I would put Auburn up there with anybody.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
reason I would put Auburn up there right now, because all these dudes have played,
Yes.
right? We have a lot of guys that are highly recruited, a tremendous freshman class, but we've yet to see them play. And we have some established guys as well. But I would say from a production standpoint and what Auburn, from how many games they've played, their experience, probably the Auburn Tigers, only because the kid that came over from Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Singleton, yes.
Yeah, he boosted that. But I do love our receivers for sure. All right, Brent, Oklahoma Sooners. This is another team that I'm very high on. And I had to do a little pregame show or whatever it was with Doring and Coach Spurrier yesterday. Doring obviously is on the hype train like me for Oklahoma. He has John Mateer being the SEC Player of the Year and the Heisman Trophy winner.
I don't know if he's going to win the Heisman, but I would agree. I mean, he's one of the better quarterbacks anywhere. Look, this is a crucial year for Oklahoma. This is a crucial year for Brent Venables. They don't need to go another 500, do they, Shane?
No.
They've got about 70% of their production that's coming back. Their offensive line, and this is crucial for them. Their offensive line that had a lot of trouble last year almost returns intact. So that is going to help them considerably. They've got a transfer from FSU, Marvin Jones, who's one of their edge guys, who is going to be doing well. Jaden Ott, who is a transfer from Cal, is a really good running back, and I mean really good. So he is going to help them, to say the least. So, Shane, I would agree with that. A lot of folks thinking they're going to be better, and frankly, for Brent Venables' job, they've got to be better this year.
Yeah, and I think he's made a smart move. He's going back. He's taking over the defense.
He is.
Their defense is one of the best if not the best in the SEC last year. They couldn't do anything offensively.
Right.
Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, he did some research for us and says Virginia is listed as having the easiest schedule this year. How about the Cavs?
They need it too, don't they?
That's right. All right. What's going on with the Rebels?
They're pretty excited. This is Lane Kiffin's sixth year, which Lane is moving up the the list for SEC coaches with experience now. I think what's going to be interesting for them, they've got a lot of secondary questions. They virtually replaced the whole secondary, but yet, I mean, this is not your old Ole Miss. This is an Ole Miss team now that has really done well defensively, and I think they will continue to do so. Logan Diggs and Kewan Lacier, a couple of their running backs, I think they'll be able to run the ball well. Diggs is finally healthy. He has been hurt for a while too, but and look, Ole Miss is bringing in some really good offensive linemen. We've got a kid named Wilkins who's 6'7", 340. Lord. And then another kid named Townsend who's 6'4", 315. So look, Ole Miss now under Shane is frankly capable of recruiting as well as anybody in the nation. They haven't made the playoffs yet. They're due for that. But this will be another good team for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I thought I saw something the other day, the winningest SEC football program since COVID, which I guess that was what, 2020? It's Alabama.
Yeah.
It's Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss.
Yeah, I would believe that. And again, Lane is disappointed because they obviously haven't made the playoffs, and Florida had a lot to do with that last year, to their credit. But look, it's just a matter of time. And I'll say this: if we go from 12 games to 16 games, teams like Ole Miss, won't they, Shane, really will benefit from that, and that they may be in the playoffs. I won't say every year, but on many years.
Very true. We got a text here from Greg in Fort Myers on the Titan our text line. It's a screenshot of, I guess, Florida Victoria's chat board. He says, well, he doesn't say, but or maybe he did say, I don't know. Somebody sent it to me here. It says DJ is also struggling with his shoulder. It begins to hurt after only 10 or so throws. He also has tingling and numbness associated with the shoulder. His dad doesn't want him to play if he isn't 100%. There's a real chance he doesn't play at all this year. So that's chat board material. I didn't say that. Do not go tweet that I said that, people. I'm reading what they sent in here. This text from Bob in Orlando on the Titan More text line. QB, your thoughts on the Netflix quarterback series? I am so impressed with the guys I see for season 2. The mental toughness as well as their tolerance to play through pain is impressive. Would love for the Gators to be in a series like this. I don't have Netflix, Bob, believe it or not. I've heard it's tremendous. JC's talked about it. Look, I've always stated there's 3 things that Coach Spurrier looked for in his quarterbacks, and I firmly believe that's my philosophy too. 1 is your knowledge of the game and your system. 2 is your accuracy and your anticipation. And 3 is your mental and physical toughness. And he sometimes calls it courage. Those 3 items are the most important to me in a quarterback. I never said one thing about size, speed, arm strength, or any of that stuff. So anyway, all right, Brent, what's going on with the Tennessee Vols?
Tennessee, so far, they are still trying to figure out what is going on with Boo Carter. He was a freshman All-American in 2024, picked off a pass, had a sack, had 38 tackles, and returned punts. So he is not with the team. They are speculating on what is going on, and there's a lot here that we don't know, which we understand, but they're still just trying to get him on board. So not real sure. Also, when Jermon McCoy is going to come back, he's recovering from an ACL, so there's no real timetable for him with that either. Now, they open the season against Syracuse at Mercedes-Benz. Their whole home opener is on September the 6th. They will start playing SEC play on September the 13th. So, and this is a very young Tennessee football team. The 25 roster, 49% of them are freshmen. That's half the team, frankly. So, and look, they've got some really good players. There's no question about that. But I'm not. I think it's going to take them a while to really get going. Shane, that they may be a lot better in October, November than what we're going to see in September.
Yeah. Brent, before we get you out of here, time goes by fast. The Texas Longhorns, I think majority of the people in America think they are the best team in America right now. Obviously,
Yeah.
they open up in the horseshoe against Ohio State, the defending national champs. I was going to ask you, you've been covering college football for a long, long time. Have you ever seen a player probably have this much pressure on them as Arch Manning does? And the reason I say that is I'm talking like media pressure and fans,
Yeah.
and because I think Sarkisian, being a former quarterback and a great play caller, I think Arch is going to be fine. But
Yes.
can you remember a player? And I don't know if pressure is the right term to use, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the thing you get with Arch, and you can help me on this because you know the family. There is a different mindset with these guys than there is a lot of other folks. And I think that look, when you got uncles the way he does, if you got grandfather the way he does, I mean, you could see at media days he was just a different guy than a lot of people are. I mean, he is. I'm sure he has his moments, but he appears to be pretty grounded. They protected him at Texas, and look, this is something you can speak about. I mean, he has earned his way. I mean, he is kind of set for a couple of years. He's ready now to be the guy. So I think he is capable, Shane, of handling the pressure that comes from somewhere like Texas. You're right on it's going to be fascinating to see how he does this year.
Yeah, I mean, if his name was Arch Beard or Arch
Yeah,
Johnson or Arch
yeah,
Williams, people would be like,
true.
"Damn, Texas is going to be the best team in America." But you know,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's what's funny to me is I can't tell you how many friends of mine that are, they love recruiting, and
Mm-hmm.
they're into college football and they love the Gators. So if you don't play for the Gators, you ain't worth a damn, right?
Yeah,
But they
yeah,
they're like, "Have you watched his high school tape?" I'm like, "I know where he played high school ball, but his two uncles played there too."
yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So what does that mean? They turned out
Yeah,
pretty good. Brent,
yeah. They did.
good stuff as always. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, look forward to it. But take care. Thanks.
That's Brent Beaird, our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Take a quick time out. We'll come back. We'll be joined by JP Shadrick from Jaguars.com. Get his thoughts on the Jags practices and get your questions and comments ready. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Meals Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Signs, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
I'm tired of you living in pain, and I want you to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, back, shoulders, and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Stop putting it off. Call now and schedule your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now in Gainesville, Ocala, and the Villages. 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550.
Attention, attention. Your time is running out. There are just hours left before Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's Christmas in July promotion disappears. Right now, get 20% off Spurrier's gift cards. Perfect for fans, foodies, and future Gator greats. But hurry, come August 1st, the deal is gone. Stop by Spurrier's Gridiron Grill today or visit Spurriers.com to claim your 20% off gift cards now. That's Spurriers.com.
Naysayers, setbacks, injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios, Miapa Latin Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Miapa Latin Cafe. 5 locations in Gainesville and Alachua. You're never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. Back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Him. We're joined by JP Shadrick from Jaguars.com. Also does a lot of college football games. Good morning, JP. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, Shane. It's great to be back with you. You know what that means? That means training camp is here. Football's on deck. We've got a scrimmage coming up tomorrow night. Jaguars do. And then next week, the Steelers come to town for preseason week 1. All of a sudden, Labor Day weekend will be here for all the college football. We're back in it, baby.
Well, what's crazy, you just made me think about it. There's a damn football game on TV tonight.
Yes, Hall of Fame game tonight. Yeah, I couldn't tell you who's playing in it, but
Well, the reason I know that it's the Lions, because Brunell's going to be there. I talked to him before training camp. I don't know who they're playing though.
Right. I mean, I'll have it on. I'll watch
Yeah.
like 2 drives, and then it'll just be background noise for me. It
Exactly.
was cool. The one year the Jaguars, well, they've played in it twice, but the last time was when Baselli was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we got to go and see the game. And you know, the week is incredible. I mean, the game's on Thursday, then the enshrinement is on Saturday, and it is a real showplace for professional football. It's awesome.
Well, let's talk about the Jags. Let's go to Travis Hunter first. I mean, he's the face of the franchise now, I guess, over Trevor Lawrence. You see on Twitter him playing one day he's on defense, one day he's on offense. I think I saw Pete Prisco say something. He was very impressed at how this guy just runs and never gets tired. Your thoughts? Is he going to play both ways?
That's the plan. We'll see if that's the plan come September, but right now he's working 2 days in a row on offense, then 2 days in a row on defense, kind of alternating back and forth. And I think as this training camp continues, there'll be a point where, and it might be in the scrimmage tomorrow night, where he plays both sides of the ball in one practice, switches jerseys, the whole thing. That's possible. But I think they're just going to let him go and see what happens. And then if they have to reel back in that plan and narrow it down or change his practice time or whatever that ends up being, then so be it. That's fine. But let the horse run as long as he can. And so far, he's been really good on offense. I mean, he's not dropping much. He moves differently than a lot of people on that field just because of his somewhat slight frame, but explosiveness to go with it. I'm really curious to see when it gets real with other teams with pads on, how much different the physicality might be here as opposed to where he was. How can he handle that with his slight frame? And, he's listed at 185. I would be shocked if he's 185. I mean, I think he's just lighter than that. So that means also on defense too, right, Shane?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be playing press coverage on the line against, some of these big wide receivers in the NFL. So they have to manage him the right way. He's got the right attitude about it. and they're just going to let him go until he can't, and or he proves that there's something he cannot do, and then go from there.
I wanted to ask you, I thought he's a tremendous, I think he has tremendous ball skills as a DB. Now, obviously, I didn't break down Colorado tape. I watched just highlights and a few games here and there. I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure, and I'm sure everybody's not sure how he can play wide receiver. We know he can run, but from a route running standpoint, because I feel like at Colorado, he would catch wide receiver screens, make 10 people miss touchdown, or he'd just go run a go route, out jump a guy with his ball skills, and make a great catch. How is his route running being developed?
So far, it looks like he has that at least mentally, right? The next part of that is getting in and out of breaks and going the right way and complimenting the guy that's running next to you, all these things that go into the offense. I think it's coming. I think it's okay. Now, like I said, I don't know if he's going to be a true outside guy. Like it may be red zone because of his ball skills that you talked about, jump balls, that kind of stuff. He's really good in one-on-one in that scenario. But in terms of just like running deep down the field, I don't know if that's going to happen. I could see a lot of that inside cross catch and run because if you get him on the run, he's really good. But they're working with him, man. They've got really good coaching around him to help him out on that side of the ball. Another part, too, by the way, on working both ways. When he's on offense, or if let's say he's practicing on defense today, right? I don't know if he is or not. Whenever the team is doing special teams work, usually it's just a little rest time for guys who aren't on special teams. No. He's over there with the offensive coaches going at least through some walkthrough stuff. Coaches are helping him out. Same way when he's working at wide receiver for the day. Defensive coordinator, secondary coach, they're all there doing walkthrough stuff with him. So he doesn't waste any time of the day. The work ethic's there, and I have no doubt, to answer your original question, that the route running will be fine to start. But like I said, you get live action and defensive backs in there that are pushing you around the first
Yeah.
5 yards. Okay, let's see how he can handle that because he is very slight.
Yeah. All right. Offensively, how's Trevor looking? How's he like this new offense?
Well, I mean, they're all going to say they love it, right? I mean, if they don't, we got real problems. No, he seems to have it down pretty well. He came back after the off break and gave them all a pop quiz about the offense, all the quarterbacks. Here's this quiz, take it. And there's a couple guys in the quarterback room that have been in this style offense or under Liam Cohen before, and Trevor graded better than them. So that's a good sign. I mean, if you're into 85, I mean, if it's a B, it's a strong B, and there's room to grow, and that's fine. And so he came back with his head on about this offense pretty well. They've been really working in spring on footwork to match progressions and things in the offense and rhythm. And there's some little different nuances there that still are being worked through. There's a few days where, you know, Shane, you were more of an under center guy, right?
Well, in college, yes.
Yes.
I used to beg for shotgun, and finally, when I went to the NFL, got to get in the shotgun.
So the nuance of which foot is forward in the shotgun and how that lets you get the ball out faster. It's little things like that Trevor might not have really thought about before.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they're working this offense, it's just going to be a daily, okay, let's remember this to get to the next thing. And so far, so good, man. I mean, he understands the pressure he's under. I mean, he's got the contract already, but he's got to stay on the field, first of all, and just get this team across the finish line somehow, whether it's him or the running game or whatever that takes, him throwing 4,500 yards or him handing it off a million times. He's the one that's got to really pull the trigger on this.
Yeah. Andy's question for you on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. JP, how much playing time do you think Ventrell Miller gets this season?
You know, I think he'll get some. He had some activity last year. Actually, it was not a great defensive season for the Jaguars. Let's be honest. Overall, I mean they ranked poorly in most every major defensive category you can a year ago. They had a whole new scheme this year, a whole new set of eyes looking at him and evaluating. But he made some impact at moments last year. So I don't know if he's an actual starter for this team. I think he'll play some defense when they have some three linebacker looks, which might not be a whole lot because you're playing nickel a lot in the NFL these days. Certainly on special teams, I think he'll have a role. But yeah, I think he'll have some playing time, maybe just not as a starter right away.
Here's a text on the Titan More text line from Jimmy. He says, has any player stood out to you the most during training camp so far?
I mean, your eyes immediately go to the guy we were talking about earlier in Travis Hunter. There's a lot of
Any undrafted
yeah.
guys caught your eye?
I was going to say there's a couple of there's a whole new defensive backfield here. I mean, they went in free agency, they got some older guys, and they drafted a couple guys, and they've got some undrafted guys come. I mean, that's a whole different world back there. I mean, I've seen Caleb Ransaw, who's a draft pick out of Tulane, make a couple plays on the ball. The guy I'm really excited to see next week in the game is Raywan Lane III. He's a safety out of Navy, special teams ace for the Naval Academy. And that's going to be his role here if he can live up to that. I'm excited to see those guys play. I mean, he's a safety by trade, but special teams where that's going to go. And then, the wide receivers here. I mean, a guy who's been around for a year or so is Josh Cephas. So Cephas was an undrafted guy out of Texas San Antonio, officially a first-year player. So he's been around for a couple years on and off the practice squad. He's actually had some really good run in this training camp and really has had his hands on the football a lot at wide receiver. And I would be, at this point, I think he's making it, at least to start the season.
Here's a text on the Titan Mark text line from Joe. Joe wants to know, JP, how do the Jaguars rank within their division, in your opinion?
It's a good one. The Texans are there at the top in theory, right? They are. They won the thing. So, all right, that's what it is. But they didn't run away with it. I mean, the quarterback's there, pass rusher's there, coach is there. They've got, in theory, a team that can go do it again and again. But the unknown is everything about the Jags. Like, everything's so new. Like, what is this offense even going to really look like? The defense, I have no idea. It's all new. We know a lot of the players because you have a lot of the key pieces back, but what does that even mean? It's hard to pick them right now to win the division because you don't know what you've seen. They haven't played a game yet to have any idea. So right now, I think to answer your question, I'm taking the scenic route. The Texans, the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Titans. That's my power rankings in the AFC South.
There you go. Chris on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. How are the running backs shaking out? Am I drafting Tank over ETN? I guess he's in the fantasy football league.
Well, I can't technically help you with fantasy play, but I can just tell you that both have had a lot of time in training camp with the first team, right? If you're into that stuff. Now that's a week and a half into training camp. But this is going to be running back by committee, I think. I really think that, even with Etienne and Bigsby. But don't forget all these young guys who've, again, we've had 2 padded practices. They've shown pretty well so far. Bashal Tutin's got a hamstring injury. He's a rookie out of Virginia Tech. He'll get when he's healthy, he can really, really run, fly. LaQuinn Allen Jr. has been a presence inside, the rookie out of Syracuse, and not really a big physical guy, but not scared to stick his nose in there. And then Jaquindon Jackson, undrafted guy out of Arkansas. Speaking of undrafted guys, he gets wide and gets ahead of steam. It's not quite Derrick Henry. I mean, but I wouldn't want to get in front of him. He's 6'2", 233, and he ran wide the other day and stiff-armed a guy and got to the sideline. I'm like, okay, here we go. So this is going to be a group effort at running back, I think, early in the season especially.
Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. A few more minutes with JP Shadrick from Jags. Liam Cohen's going to call the plays, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know that he has an offensive coordinator and all that, but I've never understood. I say this every day, I feel like on my show, when a coach gets hired to be a head coach from whatever he's been doing, if he goes from one school to the other as a head coach, why he let somebody else do what he did to get the job. So I'm glad
Yep.
Liam Cohen's going to call plays. All right, let's switch gears a little bit to college football because I know you follow college, you do a lot of broadcasting there. Who do you think the top team in America is?
Texas? What's the quarterback going to do though? I mean, he's
Yeah.
played 3 games or
Right.
whatever he's played, all in but I mean, they seem primed. This is a weird SEC year, by the way. I mean, none of these other traditional teams are, built like they have been in the past, and they have questions of their own. Georgia, Bama, I mean, LSU who knows with them too, right? This is a weird year in the SEC, especially. I mean, at Big Ten, you're going to have Penn State. I think they're going to have a really good season this year. The schedule's favorable. The quarterback's old, veteran presence. I mean, they've got running backs galore. They always just screw up one game, and it's usually Ohio State. So like if they can just get past that one game and get in that's so frustrating for Penn State fans. We were there for the Ohio State game last year. I did it on radio, and they pounded in the line 4 times on first and goal and can't score. And I mean, wow. And they didn't give it to the tight end once in that sequence.
Right.
Just stupid things like that. I mean, there's one thing for them. But I guess Texas, right?
Yeah.
Uh, you got a lot of other pieces. And is Arch going to be the guy? We'll find out here soon.
Yeah, I got a tough one to start. Dan on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. JP's thoughts on the new stadium.
In Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Oh well, it's there's a big pile of dirt outside right now. So they all ringing around the stadium. So they're doing a lot of a lot of this foundation work for the roof and stuff right now, from what I understand it. So they've been working on that since the end of last season, and now they're starting to put in some concrete access to the stadium for the scrimmage tomorrow night, and of course the preseason game next week. And I think they'll move some of that again when the team's away. And it's going to be that all season long. There'll be different entryways as the season goes along each week, different paths to go, and you got to follow signage. And we'll have all those updates on the team website and team broadcasts and everything to get people parked and into the stadium as efficiently as possible. It's not going to be easy, right? I mean, it's just tough because there is still full capacity for the stadium this year.
That's what I was going to ask. Nothing inside, like
No.
this year, it's still going to be the normal stadium.
That's right. This year is normal. Next year is not. And the year after, the Jags have to vacate in 27, but it opens in 2028. So we're excited for that.
Have they made an announcement where they're going to play? I mean, it's going to be Orlando, right?
So I'm going to guess that's probably where they're leaning. I think they've got to wait for some official voting to happen and things at the league level to really start officially announcing some of that stuff. But that makes sense to me. But they have not yet announced officially where that's going.
Last thing, Greg on the Titan MR text line, is Fred Taylor still part of y'all's pregame shows?
Yes, so Fred does our in-stadium video board shows, pregame and a little postgame and in-game halftime. And then he also does a Hit With Me each week where we talk about everything going on. It goes on the podcast network, it goes on our pregame radio show, and then postgame, he does the first hour postgame with us. So immediate reaction with Fred Taylor right after the game. And that's turned into, we've done that for years and years. And he's blossomed that into a really good move to start doing podcasts of his own with Ryan Clark and Channing Crowder and those guys with a pivot. So Fred has really developed over the years into a great broadcaster.
You got to get him in the Hall of Fame at some point.
Yeah. Speaking of, we want to talk about a week in Canton, Ohio. That would be fun. Fred Taylor, come on.
Yeah, no doubt. JP, great stuff. Let everybody know how they can follow what you do with the Jags and follow you on Twitter.
Jaguars.com. Free website, official team website. Check it out. We've got all our videos there, all our content there. Jaguars YouTube channel as well. Most of that is simulcast there. And of course, on the Jaguars Radio Network, we've got the Liam Cohen show already underway, started last week, but no head coach until the regular season. However, Shane, we'll have both the GM James Gladstone and EVP Tony Baselli in studio together again all the rest of the preseason. So I won't get a word in edgewise. I'll just intro the segment. Those guys will talk. I'll throw it to break. It's a good system.
There you go. There you go. Good stuff as always, JP. Appreciate your time, my friend.
You got it, bud. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Shane.
JP Shadrick from the Jaguars join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief, no surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. Appreciate everybody again. Thanks to JP. Thanks for Brent Beaird. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.